to the DarkHorse Experience. I am joined once again by my co-host, the handsome devil, Mr. Josh Wood.
Glorious, Josh Wood. Thank you.
And we first want to start out by apologizing for last week not having video, even though we made two of them. Uh,
Two.
a slight audio problem where it recorded me just fine. I sounded fantastic.
I
But
wonder why.
it didn't record anybody else. There was like a very slight. It was almost like it recorded your audio, but it was like super low, and I just couldn't rectify it. It sucked. So I spent a couple hours trying to fix it.
Like this,
No, it
Jeff?
was like a hint of a whisper where when you talked, I could almost hear it. Like there was just like that hint. Like maybe somebody with better hearing might have been able to hear it a little bit better, but it was useless.
Well, that's terrible.
Yeah, so
That's
that sucked. So we apologize for not having a video last week. But
sorry, guys.
yeah, we had a
Well,
special guest and everything.
we did. We had Felicity
Yeah, and it was good to catch up with her, and we had a lot of
and her
fun. And
Harry Potter wizardry. You know
yes,
what? I blame Felicity for our bad video. She didn't want nobody to see it because she didn't like the way she looked.
yeah, probably.
Her hair wasn't done right.
I don't know, maybe
Makeup was all Joker-esque.
could have been.
I'm I'm just kidding.
She was a mess.
Super mess. But thank
No,
you for the for the time, Felicity.
yeah,
It was great catching up.
yeah, we
So the world
appreciate
couldn't see it.
yeah, we appreciate her joining us and having good conversation. It was really good conversation. Like we
It
had
really
two really
was.
good videos, and I was excited to get them both up. And then that's when I found out that the audio was crap. So that sucks.
Shame,
Um,
shame, shame.
yeah, well, it happens.
And in case you couldn't hear me, shame.
Sure. So what are we going to be talking about this week?
I don't fucking know. Whatever you want to, Jeff.
Yeah,
What
whatever
do you?
we
I
feel like.
lost my pen. Lost my pen.
Yeah,
Found it. You know what? What? I don't know. We're gonna wing it today.
sure.
Whatever. You know what? Let's start out with a little bit of. I'd like to. There's a band that I've been listening to, Greta Van Fleet. I don't know if you've heard of them yet.
I heard somebody had posted something about that actually today. I saw it this morning. I don't think I've ever heard their music.
Do you like Led Zeppelin?
Who doesn't like Led Zeppelin?
That's what I'm saying. But this band, actually, I was talking to a buddy of ours, Toast.
Woohoo! Actually, he might have been
Yeah,
the one that posted it this morning.
probably was. But talking to Toast, and like somebody actually agrees with me. Like they are an amazing band. Like his vocals are on point. The fucking guitars are just perfectly in sync, and they sound like a modern day Led Zeppelin.
Interesting.
Um, Another band who's been on my brain as of late is Five Finger Death Punch.
Gotta love them.
I do love them, but this what I think the album's called "I Got Your Six."
Yes, yeah, their newest
It's
one.
it has a bunch of goodies on it. Like when I'm at work, I have my headphones in, and like I'll tell you what, man, they keep me motivated too.
Hell yeah.
Between the two bands in one day, I am like just loading pipe on my shoulder, going to town. Don't
All
even
right.
think about the day. Jamming along to Champagne and can't remember the other freaking song. I'm having a Jeff moment. Blah, 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 blah. That should be your new video entrance.
There we go.
And another band, of course, we all know this is my favorite, Dave Matthews Band.
Woo!
Uh, I really love their newest song, "She,"
Oh, it's so
off
good.
"Come Tomorrow." That
So
is the
good.
one song that it's almost like as it's if it's on repeat, just over and over. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, like when you ordered the album, like you ordered the physical album, and I bought it on my phone. and
Mhm.
so I got to listen to it right away while you had to wait. And now that
Normally
you've
doesn't
gotten a
happen.
chance to like listen to it and really absorb it, did you feel the same that I felt? Where this is their first like stellar studio album that can really stand alongside their live albums.
Um, See, no, I'm biased. Because I love Live Dave. That has always been like my kit and caboodle.
I do too. I don't
But
blame you.
but when we were at the concert, he actually did She, but he did it in a completely. He didn't do it the same way on the CD, and that's the version I actually want. Is the one he did live, and I'll probably never find it, but
Probably. Well, no,
that
because
it's so different.
he likes to change up the songs a little bit. So, but I think that just keeps it fresh for him when he's performing. You know, multiple times in one city and multiple cities throughout the year. So I think that's just a way for him to keep himself fresh. I really like the song "She." I happen to think that, in my opinion, "Can't Stop" was his best song on the album. I love that song.
Stop. That I do like it, but I'm just stuck on She. I don't know why, but like that's just the one I go
I mean,
to every
it's
time.
a absolutely fantastic song. So I don't blame you again.
It's to the point where I'm learning every single lyric and every single note, and then once I complete to master the car version sing along, then I'll go to the next one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I pretty much do the same. Actually, I haven't listened to it in a little over a week now. I've been kind of going through like a hip hop phase, but not new hip hop. It's all been like the older stuff.
Hip hop phase.
Yeah.
That's the only dancing you'll ever see this cat doing, unless you catch me a little drunk in a corner at a a party, or I might just be
Maybe.
doing a little. It's,
Just a
yeah,
little
you'll
something.
never see me. Actually, there is one time that Jeff, myself, and Christian were all dancing, and that was on.
That was New Year's, Virginia Beach.
You, you had Batman doing the robot. You had I actually showed Christian, who dressed up as Iron Man, how to do like a really cool dance with the hands. Because I was like, man, you got to like pop, and it was funny as shit. And he was like using it all night, spinning on his feet.
Good times.
Yeah, it was good times.
Oh yeah.
Um, what else? There was another. And again, Bad Wolves. I've been listening to Bad Wolves. Uh, but there's one song that they have featuring, I can't remember what her name is, like Diamante or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know
I
what you're
wish
talking
that
about.
was on the CD. I wish that song was on the CD. It's on there, but it just doesn't have her on. I just like her vocals on
Oh
it, and
yeah,
she
her the
makes that
version with
song
her
like
on it.
I think like with her lyrics. I think that song is fucking on point.
Maybe they might have it on like the special edition album or the extended edition album or whatnot. You know, so it's been so long since I've even bought a CD. But you know, like they have like that deluxe edition, and they'll have like extra songs or live versions of the songs, stuff like that.
Right.
So it might be on there.
It might. Also, let's go back to Five Finger Death Punch. You remember the song "Black and Blue" by Days of the New or Blue on Black? Sorry, Blue
Oh,
on
okay.
Black.
Yeah.
Black and Blue. What's wrong with me?
Like a
Pretty good at this,
blues.
but I'm having a lot of Jeff moments tonight. I don't understand it.
It's your turn. Tag your hit.
I'm not playing. I'm not playing. But Five Finger Death Punch does an amazing fucking cover of Blue on Black. And if you haven't done so, you should probably do a little Google search or a little
Yeah.
YouTube search and do that song. Man, it's again just Jeff.
Blue on
Bowman.
Black by Five Finger Death Punch.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Man,
Glad I
I don't like having Jeff moments. This
welcome
is
to my
not
world,
the
man.
night to wing it.
Right?
No,
All
son
right.
of a bee.
And then the one album that I've listened to the most over the last couple of weeks is going to be "Get Rich or Die Trying" by 50 Cent. It's such a great album. It's so good. Really brings me back to riding in the cars filled with smoke, driving around in the
Yeah.
woods, and
Pretending you're just fucking G Unit.
yep,
Oh, come
gangster. Leaning back in my buddy's
on.
car while he's driving, just staring through the sunroof, looking at the stars.
Uh, I have to admit, I'm guilty of it as well.
Yeah, hey, you know, if you aren't around the age of 30 and you never hung out and drove around town late at night or even in the middle of the night listening to 50 Cent's album, then you didn't live.
Not one bit. If you didn't repeat the words, I got shot 9 times and I don't walk with a limp,
Yeah.
you're not one of the cool kids.
Nope. Nope, you were a nerd. And they weren't as cool as nerds today.
Yeah, today's nerds are like the cool kids, and then
Right.
we're like the dumb idiots who like would get picked last to gym class.
I never got picked last. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't. Oh, I'm saying like in today's world, we would
Oh.
be the people. I've never got picked last either.
They get picked last in computer programming class.
Yeah,
Like,
we would be the best partners to have,
we'll
just because we would make them like giggle and shit,
we'll take
baby
Seth.
giggles and shits.
All right. So just to shift gears, I did watch for the first time in a long time. I watched
Uh-oh.
Monday Night Raw on TV while it was going on.
I have not watched that in a minute.
It's been quite some time, and
Fill me in.
so
Ooh,
I
we're gonna do
I
little-
wasn't really caught up on all the storylines. No, they just had the last pay-per-view not that long ago, the other weekend. Um,
That was Money in the Bank.
yeah, and it was not great.
No,
Now-
was that Money in the Bank?
No, Money in the Bank was
Stream Rules. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Stream
Stream
Rules.
um, yeah, the Raw wasn't great. I was gonna watch SmackDown. I don't remember what happened. I was gonna do that too, which I'm kind of bummed because they made a huge announcement, which I don't know if you know yet, but Stephanie McMahon made an announcement on SmackDown.
I do know about
Yeah.
this announcement.
So, and I'm very happy about this. In October, yeah, October, there's going to be a pay per view. What's it called? What are they calling it? Evolution. Yeah. So their pay per view called Evolution, and literally it is an all female pay per view. And
And
the reason I'm excited about that is the women over the last, I don't even know how many months, have been putting better matches, have been putting together better stories. They have, honestly, a lot of the better wrestlers. Really, the creative for the WWE on the men's side, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but it's so shoddy. And, like, their stories are terrible. They keep throwing Roman Reigns at us.
don't get me started.
Nobody actually likes him, and yet the WWE is like, well, people like him. We'll just keep making him champ and keep giving him opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And it's terrible. They have so many more, so many more wrestlers that are better talent. They're better with the mic. They have an actual personality. They know more than 15 to 30 seconds worth of moves. And it's just better. You know, he has the look physically to be that number one guy, but that's it. And even then, his gear, like the fact that he wears a fake flak jacket, irritates me. Maybe it's just because I'm irritated with the rest of it, and so like that's like that last straw. But
every time I see him, I just want to puke.
well, it's like the look is there. I could see where they like his look. He's got that look that can be like, boom, he could be the face of the organization visually, but he's got It just froze on the funniest face. I'm using that for your intro.
Yeah,
So
I saw it like freeze, so
that's so good. Um, but
I just
the
figured it'd be
fact
for
that
real.
he has zero mic skills and even less personality in and out of the ring, like it's awful. His stories are terrible. His matches are supremely boring. If you give him a match with somebody very, very good, someone like an AJ Styles or Shinsuke Nakamura, or even like a Dean Ambrose, like the only good parts of the match are when they're doing something. Like he ends up
I'm
with no
gonna
highlights.
I'm gonna stop you for a second. So at the this was Money in the Bank, and Roman Reigns had a match with Jinder Mahal.
Oh
Now
my word, yeah.
you were talking about his boring matches. Now this was a huge fucking snooze fest.
Oh, it was
But
awful.
the only thing that made it entertaining, and the only thing that saved that match itself that actually got
uh,
pops was the fucking crowd and all their chants. And let me count them up real quick. One, two.
they were absolutely phenomenal. Super entertaining crowd. The match was horrible, and that made the crowd even crazier. And
There was like 10 different chants going
oh
on.
yeah, oh yeah,
And they start with CM Punk chants were there.
yeah.
Um, they also had this is boring chants.
Oh yeah,
Like early on, I think that was only like
oh
maybe
yeah,
a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
Then of course they started doing the Rusev Day chants.
Yeah.
Then they chanted, "This is awful."
Yes, which was my favorite one, to be honest. Because it almost, when they started it, I almost thought they were saying awesome. And I was like, there's no possible way that they think that this is awesome. And I literally turned my TV up and I heard this is awful, and I started dying. Like I was laughing so hard.
They went as far as saying this match sucks.
Oh yeah, yep.
There was Y2J chants.
Hmm.
Um, God, that was the only thing that was the most entertaining. The simple fact that the crowd wanted nothing to do with that match.
Yeah.
They didn't want to see these two. Jinder Mahal, sure, but not with Roman Reigns because it's two big guys that are just.
Yeah, but even then, Jinder needs ring general, somebody that's gonna take over the match and help him out.
Oh,
And
don't
when
put
he,
him with Roman.
yeah, well, clearly when he has somebody he's wrestling like Roman Reigns that can't help him out because he's just not good enough, the match goes super flat. It was incredibly boring. You have two guys that go slow, and neither of them have personality in the ring. Now, Jinder Mahal has a little bit more than Roman, but that's literally saying you've got 1% over 0%.
Did you? Oh, I will tell you two things I'm excited for with the Evolution pay per view.
Hmm.
Two that really jump out, and that is Trish and Lita.
Oh, yeah.
They are going to have a match. I don't know if it's together. I don't know if it's against one another or together, but I
I don't remember.
believe they're going to have a match. At least I think that's what I read. Maybe
I
that's just wishful thinking.
Well, because
Either way, I'm not.
they're doing like another Rumble match, so they might be a part of that again. I think
Possible.
that's what it is. They're having like tons of girls coming up from NXT. There have already been
Ooh.
rumors. I saw a rumor
Three
video.
reasons. I'm sorry. Three reasons. So it just popped in my brain. My girl's coming back. My other
Oh
girl's coming
yes,
back. Caitlin, she's coming
Caitlyn.
back, and I am so excited.
Yeah. Now we just need AJ to come back.
Anything's possible.
Oh, I don't know. I
I'm
think
sh-
she's done wrestling, man.
You never know.
Plus,
Maybe.
I don't think she could take any more CM Punk chance. I think that was a part of her departure last time. Was whenever she was in the ring, people chanted CM Punk because everybody knows that they're married. So,
She'll get over it.
hey, whatever. She'll deal with it.
Speaking of CM Punk, I don't know if you've seen any of his fights in MMA,
Oh, I
but
saw both of them.
yeah, he's getting brutally beaten.
He got fired.
Did he? See, I don't even
Right
know.
after his match, Dana White said they're both fired because the guy he was fighting should have ended the match earlier. Like Joe Rogan was saying it, Dana White obviously agrees. Other fighters were like this. He just why isn't he ending it? Why isn't he finishing off uh, Phil CM
Phil.
Punk? Yeah. Why is he finishing him off? Like they're just like dragging it out for TV time is what a lot of people felt like he was doing. And it wasn't even a good fight. Like the other guy wasn't that good, but CM Punk was that much worse. It was just he's just getting punched in the face over and over again, and I was just dying inside watching. And yeah, afterwards, Dana White in the press conference said that they were both fired, and he fired them both.
I know that I'm pretty sure, I don't know if he did or is going to, but I think he's going to start working with Ring of Honor again.
Well, he doesn't have a career in UFC anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think he has a career in mixed martial arts at all anymore. Now that the whole world has seen his fight, both of them,
right.
they're awful. I shouldn't say the whole world, the whole mixed martial arts world. So Pride's not gonna want to touch him. Actually, Pride doesn't exist anymore. What am I talking about?
Well, that's why they don't want them,
Bellator.
because they don't even exist.
Yeah, Bellator's not gonna want him. The Japanese promotion, was it? Darn, now I'm having it. Oh, anyway, but they're not gonna want him.
Accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're not. Nobody's gonna want him as far as the MMA world goes. So he can try his hand in wrestling again, but
I think that he should be the host for Nickelodeon's Double Dare.
really,
Yeah,
Bug.
why not?
Stupid fucking bugs. But
Bug.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No, who do they have hosting that? Somebody else is hosting that.
I don't
Oh,
know.
it's Liza. She was or is a YouTuber. She started out, I believe she started out on Vine and then moved over to like YouTube when Vine was going down. And she's hilarious. I'd rather
I
have
don't
her
know.
than CM Punk. Why? What would CM Punk do?
That was just being like a funny haha.
He could be the new host of Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes, that would be perfect.
Team Green Monkeys.
The Great Monkeys. That would be. I'd watch it.
Yeah. Or he could do that show that never really happened with who's it with? Oh, it was with Jericho. Where like the contestants were like hanging off a building and then they would just like drop them.
Oh yeah,
That
was
never.
such a
I
weird.
guess that never happened. Like they must have created like a pilot and then it just never took off. Like nobody watched, and so they scrapped it or something.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's got his own like sitcom or reality show over in Canada.
Really?
Y2J. Yeah.
I don't know. I have never been to
I
Canada.
want to say. I want to say I remember reading something of such.
Sure. Why not?
Don't fact check me.
I
Or you
did.
can.
Speaking of reality shows, I actually did watch Ms. and Mrs.
Did you?
I did, and I will say, I like the Miz in the ring. I think he has a very good personality. He does the heel very, very well. He does it almost as well as Jericho did when Jericho came back, and he was the like very snooty. That's I think he does that kind of Hollywood thing very, very well.
Right. Well, he's an
Well,
A-lister.
Oh, of course. Well, in a
Jesus.
reality show, you can kind of tell when they're acting, like when they're kind of pushing like that reality show agenda. Like you can kind of tell when they're acting, but it's still entertaining. He's still such a funny guy, like in person. He's one of those guys that I think I would really like to hang out with.
Well, he's got the most experience on being on a reality show.
Well, he
With,
started out on a reality show. Started out on the real world. That's when the Miz officially came to the world.
The Miz. Oh yes, I remember the very first Miz. Boy, was he a drunk.
Yeah. That's
But good on him, man. He's done extremely well for himself. He grew up. He took the reins and
Well, there's there was this moment that they caught when his wife Maurice was still pregnant, and they put it on the show, and it's super super funny. And when she was still pregnant, she's like 8 months pregnant, like closing in on, or not. I think she was like 8.5 months pregnant. She said like 2 or 3 weeks from her due date. And so like she's right there on the cusp, got the big old prego belly, and I guess like she was at the show, and the Miz was getting ready for his match, and she did like a backstage like interview, um, and with Renee Young, and she like started to get like kind of short of breath, and Renee like cut it, like finished up her thing, stopped recording, and she was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, like just the way I'm sitting and we're talking." And she's like, "It almost feels like I'm having like contractions, like I might be having a little like contractions or something. I don't know. I think I just gotta sit down." So they start like getting her over. They brought her like catering so she could like sit down and kind of relax. And on the way there, she saw Titus O'Neil. Renee Young did. Saw Titus O'Neil, was like, "Hey," or like she starts going around trying to find Mike, the Miz. And she's like, "Hey, have you seen the Miz anywhere?" And he's like, "Oh, you would know where." Titus got that real deep voice. And she's like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Can you?" Yeah. She's like, "Can you like go get him? I think Maurice might be having contractions." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll find him. I'll find him." And so he finds him, and like the whole information gets distorted when it gets from person to person to person.
Sure.
So by the time he finds the Miz, he's like, "Hey man, Maurice is over there having contractions," and like the Miz just like is like running all over the backstage, trying to find his wife, who he thinks is having contractions, giving birth. And finally, like, "Oh, she's in catering," and he like runs in there. He sees her sitting down, and she's just sitting at a table. He just goes over. He's like, "Oh, I was imagining that I was gonna go into catering. I was to see my wife sitting on top of a table with her legs spread, like somebody like puking in the back because a baby's coming out of her vagina, and I walk into catering and she's sitting there fine eating a goddamn cookie." Oh,
Best
like
cookie ever.
it was super entertaining. Like you could tell that like that stuff like wasn't acting, but like it was super funny. He is such an entertaining guy, and then Maurice is actually really entertaining. And the show introduced her mother, Mike's mother-in-law,
Oh,
and it was a real quick. Like she wasn't in much of the first episode. It was like real quick things here and there, so it's not like she wasn't kind of like the one of the main personalities, but she definitely the way her personality is and how like Mike is and kind of real life, like who he is as a person, like they kind of clash a little bit because he's very at least from what I've seen from like was it when he was on like Total Divas and like in real life he's not like this crazy guy who's super stuck up, but he cares about his image, like he has a brand that he's trying to protect, and so he's still very professional, but he likes to have fun, he likes to mess around, whereas like Maurice's mom, his mother-in-law, has like zero filter. So like
oh,
she'll just say things and it embarrasses him. Like it looks like it's going to be a really fun show. So yeah,
worth the watch.
yeah. So check it out. I believe it's every Tuesday after SmackDown. They show it, Ms. Maurice. Check it out.
Why not?
Could be a good
Let's
view,
see.
or it could be trash. If you don't like it, let them know on Twitter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then let us know because I want to see the trashy
I'm
things
sure.
you have to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, and then tag us in your tweets, and
Yeah,
then
why not?
let us know that you thought Ms. and Mrs. was trash.
I can't say anything yet. I haven't seen it, but I will be the first one to say this is garbage if it even remotely smells like it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm an honest person, especially when it comes to TV and video entertainment. If I don't like it, I'm gonna say I don't like it. But I'll say it was
Uh,
entertaining. I found it entertaining.
let's. Well, I will take your opinion, and I will consider watching it when I actually have a moment to myself.
When you're not working for blank fire protection.
Blank fire protection. Shout out to blank fire protection. Let's change her up.
Sure.
Um, when you're driving, do you stick your hand out the window? Drive one hand, stick your hand out the window.
No,
Let's,
if I'm
let
doing one-handed, I drive with my left hand. I'm used to driving standards.
okay.
I find it. I feel it's weird when I'm driving with my right hand if like and my left arm's like out the window. I think I may have used to back in the day, but I don't like when I if I do it now, like even just like pantomiming, like it doesn't feel right. Like I drive with my left because I'm so used to stick shifts. So
But you drive an automatic right now, so
right now,
you don't get
sure.
that hand. You don't like do the little float motion and stuff like that.
Not while I'm driving. No.
Oh, see, I do that all the
If
time.
I'm in the passenger seat, I'll do that.
Is it just because it's your right hand and that's like the hand you feel comfortable doing it with?
Yeah. Well, maybe no, because I'm probably if I'm in the back seat on the driver's side, I'll probably do it with this hand. But I'm not driving with my right, so it's not gonna feel weird.
Well, I found a reason why you don't do this.
Okay.
And I'm guilty of it on all kinds of occasions. I still do it to this day. And so the other day, I was driving up the road going home, had my hand out the window, which extends a little past the mirror because I have long, lanky arms. So I actually like tucked it back just a little bit, and as I'm driving, I feel this thing like slap up between my fingers, right in here, and it freaked me out. And as I like turned my hand, it was like, is my finger still there? I caught a fucking bee, like a bumblebee, in my fingers,
Oh, poor
and the fucking thing's like vibrating. I'm freaking out.
He's
I'm
trying
going
to
because
fly
I didn't know
away.
what it was at first. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I just see this big black and fucking yellow thing, and I'm going, oh shit! Like trying to do this, throw it out the window, and it was like stuck.
Well, he's probably
And
grabbing on. Yeah.
he was dead because he hit
Oh.
my hand so hard. But it was a fucking bee. Like, and I'm doing like 45 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like, freak me out. Just catching bees with my hands and shit.
Yeah.
I've caught a couple rocks too. I have caught like rocks in my hands. I don't know why I still do it, but I enjoy it. I like getting that hand like floating in the air and shit. Makes me feel like I'm 5 again.
There you go.
Why not? Do you have any weird habits when you drive? Like, do you have any kind of like, do you rub the steering wheel too much? Like, I know people, I don't know them personally, but I've seen like steering wheels where they've had like the thumbs rubbing while people are driving.
No, I don't do that either. I don't think
Do
I
you
have
have any
any.
weird?
I don't think I have any weird things while I'm driving. No, like weird twitches. I'm usually paying attention to driving. I don't think I have. Maybe like if I'm on cruise control and I'm listening to a really good song, then I'm drumming, like to the song. But that's about it. Like if I'm driving, I'm listening to like a podcast. I don't do that. So it's not like a weird tick or anything. But no, I mean, there's really nothing weird that I do while I'm driving.
I do something else where because after this hand got surgery, I I have like nerve damage, so I can't feel like what my hand does all the time, especially driving. So I'll grip the steering wheel like unbearably tight, and then eventually like my hand will start cramping up, and like I have to pry the son of a bitch away.
Yeah, looks like you got like cerebral palsy and shit.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
get off of the steering wheel.
yeah.
Feel like a Michael J. Fox for a second.
Yeah, I don't do any of that. The occasional drumming, maybe some sing-alongs. That's about it.
Do you have any pet peeves while you're driving for your
Uh,
passengers?
other
Any
than
pet peeves?
other than people drinking in my car, hasn't happened in a long time.
Who does something like that?
Yeah, but you only did it to piss me off, and it worked. But
I
I don't do
did.
that. It wouldn't even piss me off anymore. Like I would just grab it out of your hand and throw it out the window and be like, "There you go. Now you're stupid." Like now you're
Says
out.
the guy who's going down the wrong way.
Hey, that GPS was cursed. It had roads that didn't
Sure.
exist, and roads that were supposed to exist weren't there.
And an asshole sitting in the passenger seat going,
Yep.
oh, what a night.
That's pretty much it. I don't let things get to me anymore. What's the point?
Well, that's good.
Especially if I'm
There's no
driving.
point.
Like, I don't want shit getting to me while I'm driving. I want to be able to enjoy the drive.
Okay. So you don't have any weird driving habits. Do you have any weird habits at like your house? Or, I'm sorry. Let's rewind. Sorry. We were pet peeves. You don't. Besides that, you don't have any pet peeves. Like, there's nothing that. For instance, one of my pet peeves, I don't like people feet on the fucking dashboard.
I do that one.
That is the grossest fucking thing.
See,
A,
that
and
doesn't bother me
B,
because feet don't bother me. I mean, I'll be like, if their feet like really stank, I'll be like, dude, your feet stank, or hey, lady, your feet stank. Hang them out the window at least.
no. Don't take your fucking disgusting feet out of your shoes. Don't put your little fucking toes up in my windshield because I'll cut your fucking feet off. That is so gross when I see that.
I don't think I've ever done that. Like feet up on the dashboard or out the window. Like, I don't think I've ever done that. But I know people that have. It still doesn't bother me.
And it's extremely unsafe. Think about if your airbags go off. You are having knee and toe sandwiches, which grosses me out just saying.
Well, if somebody's doing that in the car, it's my job to make sure that airbag doesn't have to go off.
Well, you've also flipped vehicles.
Hey, one. And you can kiss my ass. Because that wasn't my fault.
Fact that it was flipped.
Nope. That was, I'm going to pull your line, not my fault. All right.
Oh, no,
I did everything within my power, everything within my ability, and I'm a damn good driver, to try and save that vehicle from sliding off the road. But when you have a multi-ton vehicle with 5 people in the back and it's filled with liquor and alcohol and booze and it's 2 TVs and a stereo system and a wraparound fucking couch and the thing weighs multiple tons and it's only 2 goddamn wheel drive and then the road slick over to the point where the cop almost busted his ass when he got there finally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I did everything I could.
So, fucking, like, 10 years ago, you got pissed off at me for having an open container, yet now you're driving motherfuckers around that are partying in the back of vehicles.
Yeah, it's called a limo, stupid.
Jesus.
I may still have a picture of that turned over. That was a shitty-ass day. I've had,
I'm glad you're all right, but I did giggle a little bit when you're like, once I found out you were okay, I did giggle. We've still been giggling about this.
I mean, I looked over at the cop and... Because, I didn't understand what had happened. Because to me, the ass end started to come out. I was like, maybe I hit a patch or something. I tried steering into it. At one point, I was like, maybe I can kick the ass end around further and just do, a full-on 360, maybe. It was a big vehicle. It was later at night. It was dark. There was no other cars coming. So, literally, it was like, maybe I can try and 360 and get us out of it. But nope, I turned the wheel the other way, nothing. So it just started going sideways, and it just continued to go sideways. And it sucked. But I didn't understand why it did that until literally I got out of the vehicle, which had flipped over onto its side. So I literally had to get out of the vehicle by climbing out of it. And... when this was just after the cop had got there, he was getting out of his car as I'm walking up the hill through the snow. And it was there wasn't a ton of snow, but there was maybe a couple of inches on the ground. But that was from the previous storm. What had happened is it was raining. And then literally the temperature went from 35 degrees to 28 degrees in minutes. So all the water that was on the ground just froze right over. And when I was walking up the little hill on the side of the road, and I look up at the cop, he almost busted his ass getting out of his car. And then I get up there, I was like, what are you doing? And I almost busted my ass getting on there. And literally he looked at me, and I just looked up back at the car. I was like, well, that's what happened. I get it now. So that sucked. But it definitely wasn't my fault. Because I was going slow, I was being cautious, and the ass end just kicked right out.
It's not your fault.
Nope.
So let's switch gears. You we understand that the DC world is going to get its own
Yep.
streaming service.
Yep. Called the DC Universe, I believe is what they're calling it. I believe they're calling it like DC Universe.
I want maybe.
That's what it
Sure.
seems like all the little videos that they've posted and previews. And hey, this is what you're gonna get. Like it all says like DC Universe on it. So I'm guessing that's what they're gonna call it.
I think I'm gonna obviously big DC fan here. I have nothing against Marvel. I like both, but I'm definitely Team DC. So we watched a trailer for Teen Titans.
Yeah, just Titans. It's not Teen Titans.
Or I'm sorry, just Titans. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad.
not
But
bad.
it's all the Teen Titans. Just it's live action.
Yeah.
And Jeff, what was your initial thought and opinion? Because this is something that we had talked about where we thought it was going to be just like really shitty cosplay and not really going to be worth anything.
Yeah, but technology, even in the last several years, have come very, very far. Um, you watch some of the older Marvel films, like some of the first Marvel films, and the CGI is not very great. You know, they don't do a terrible job, but it's not that great either.
Right.
Compared to like their latest films, and it blows you away. So the CGI has come a very long way, and it looks from the preview, it looks really good. Um, excuse me. There was like I was a little concerned with someone like Raven or Beast Boy, um, but I think with technology nowadays, they really shouldn't have a problem with it. So really, their biggest issue is writing because you had what was it? Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, or Superman vs Batman. I don't remember which one went first. And even Justice League, they weren't that great of movies. The writing was kind of bad. The acting wasn't great.
They could have done better for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you
They did
have.
better than I thought they were going to do, to be honest. But
Yeah, I thought Justice League was better than what I anticipated it to be, but that's really, again, that's not really saying much. So, um, I don't know, they have the potential to do something really good and to kind of. What is the word I'm thinking of? Kind of like make up for their last couple of films. I didn't see Wonder Woman. I have yet to see Wonder Woman. I just when I have time, I
that
don't
was
think
probably
about
one of
it.
the best ones, to be honest.
Maybe I like literally when I've wanted to watch it, I haven't had time, and when I have time, I just don't think about it. Like maybe that's their big
I think you
problem.
should do yourself a favor. No, I that was actually really good. I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm saying like that's the problem with a lot of the DC films lately, is because when I'm sitting down, I think of Marvel movies. I'm like, ooh, maybe I can watch this one, or maybe I can watch that one. Like, I literally all the ones that are available right now, I own on my Xbox. So I can be like, ooh, you know what? I want to watch Ant Man. You know, Paul Rudd's hilarious, great film, great writing, great cast, great acting, great CGI. Like, it's just a great film. And so, outside of the Dark Knight trilogy, they really haven't had that. So like people were like, "Oh, Wonder Woman's great," but I don't even think about it because they've already had so many films that I've watched that I'm just like blah.
Yeah. I,
So I think they have
anything with
to.
Superman, I just
Yeah. So I think this might be their chance to redeem themselves in the
it's going to
eyes
be
of
dark.
moviegoers. I hope so. I hope it does because
It looks like
literally,
it's going to be like a dark fucking show.
I hope so. All the other ones where they've tried to be lighthearted have sucked.
Yeah,
So
that's fact.
they really don't have anybody like Deadpool to do like a dark humor but still keep it funny.
Right.
So all their darker movies, you had Michael Keaton Batman. The first one was epic because before that, all they had was
Adam
Adam
West.
West, and all those were just goofy and like they were just like, ooh. And so
That's my least
nobody,
favorite Batman.
yeah, I don't blame you.
Minus Nipple Man over there. The
Nipple
one with
Man,
the
Val
nipple
Kilmer,
suit. The,
or no, sorry, Jesus
oh,
Christ,
that
Val
was
Kilmer
Clooney.
was pre-nipple. Uh,
That was
George Clooney,
Clooney.
yeah, Clooney. So, but I don't like in like those films. Like they went to Kilmer, which did like it really wasn't as bad as what some people were saying, but then the Clooney movies were wacky. I guess is a great way to
Yeah.
describe them. They weren't as dark as they should have been. Like you had Batman and you had Batman Returns, and those were two darker movies. You had a
Right.
dark tone, and they were done so well. And then as they continued, it just got goofy and kind of comic booky, but they didn't pull it off well. It was trash.
Right.
And Superman, don't even want to go.
Don't even want to talk about it.
So,
That we don't say those
but
words in my
still, but
house.
it's another great example. I'm not in your house, so you can bite me.
Technically, you are in my
No,
house.
I'm not.
You're on my screen, which is in my house.
Technically, you are on my screen because that's what everybody's going to be watching. Yeah, I'll show
I'm
you.
gonna
Put
straight
that
Johnny
finger.
Cash out.
But even with the Superman films, they were not good. Like any of them, none of them were good. And Man of Steel with Cavill was probably their best one that they've made. But literally, you're saying that's like the best tasting pile of dog shit. It's
I've
not.
never. Fun fact: never seen any of them.
It's really not good, but it's not as bad as prior Superman Returns and all this other shit. Uh,
Christopher Reeves.
yeah, Christopher Reeves, all those movies were garbage. Um, and then Batman vs Superman wasn't good. It wasn't good, and I knew it wasn't going to be good. And then they do the Justice League, and I watched it, and I was like, it's not good. They have so much potential, so many amazing characters that they could play with, and the casting was bad. It was just all bad. It was all bad. And it's crazy because their TV shows are fantastic. Arrow,
Right?
absolutely fantastic. Flash,
Gotham.
absolutely fantastic. Gotham, absolutely fantastic. Which I finally finished season 3. Season 4 just finished, so it's not going to be available for a while unless I want to buy it, which I don't really have the money to be buying it. So, oh
Right.
well. But Gotham's fantastic. Uh, um, was it Legends? Is
Yep.
absolutely fantastic. Like it's just great shows, and they all mold in together. I haven't seen Supergirl yet, but when they do like the crossovers, we see her come in, and she seems like a great actress. So that's awesome.
They're gonna do a Batwoman.
Really,
They're bringing Batwoman into the
Batwoman or Batgirl?
Batwoman.
Okay, so Barbara's already Oracle, and
I don't know.
that would be the only way to make sense. I guess.
It never makes sense.
But yeah, so the one thing that I really like about Marvel is when they started on this journey, they realized that we have to have a Marvel universe and everything has to coexist between the movies and the TV. So
Right.
like all the movies tie into each other along with the TV shows tie into each other, but DC hasn't really gone that way. Like they have their movies, they have their TV, they're like two separate things. They're two separate worlds, even or two separate universes in the same world or two separate worlds in the same universe. I don't know how to explain that. But really it's like you have the DC universe, but there's two worlds. And I don't like that because they should be going with each other. There should be obviously you can't have Gotham because it's a prequel,
Right.
but if they could make references with the movies and the other TV shows of events that happened in Gotham, that would be amazing. Like, how amazing would
Right.
that be? Or if they used, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the kid who played the Flash in The Flash, if he came in into Justice League, that would be amazing. And
That
then
would be pretty awesome.
and that's what I was really hoping they would do, but they didn't. They went with the kid from what movies has he done? He did Jesus. No, he didn't do Jesus. I'm wrong.
He didn't do Jesus?
No, he did the Harry Potter film, Fantastic Beasts, a
That's right,
couple
he
other
did.
things. But sorry, stupid bug bite on my shin. But so they didn't go with the same Flash, which made me upset because they had an opportunity to then now kind of mesh everything together, which would have been amazing, but
Right.
they didn't. They suck. And they were like, "Oh, well, we'll do the Justice League films, and they'll tie into the Superman film that we've already done, and so we'll have like Batman come in, and it's just like there's too many different things going on where instead of keeping track of one world and one universe where everything's kind of happening and coordinating with each other, and then you kind of have the Gotham prequel, which is building up to him becoming Batman, they now have all these different worlds, and they're like separated, and they've almost ruined it for me, really. So, I mean, Titans may be great, and maybe their redemption as far as the movies go, but how is it going to tie into the rest of the universe, or is it now going to be their own completely different universe? Are we now going to have another world of DC
Uh,
craziness going on that we have to try and keep track of?
I don't know because I'm actually looking at the DC universe. They do have some pretty cool options though, with original shows plus all of the movies they've already done that we've already seen. Also, I think this is going to be my fun one. The comic section. You're actually going to be able to read the comics,
Oh yeah,
today's
yeah, yeah,
comics,
yeah. Would
Rebirth, and all that stuff.
That's another thing
Which
that's completely different. Like all these stories
uh,
don't actually match up to the comics, which is the whole heart and essence of these worlds. Now, granted, the Marvel movies haven't followed great with the comics either because they've had to change up a few things and make them actually work for the camera. But
right.
again, with Ant Man, when when the main antagonist brings on the original Ant Man, literally they reference the comics, and one of the lines he says is "Tales to Astonish" when he's talking about Ant Man, which is literally the name of the comic. So they're still coordinating with the comics, and they're trying to keep things as present and as coordinated as possible without obviously ruining things. But I'm excited to see if Marvel brings in the X-Men
Hmm.
because they play a part in the Infinity War.
Hmm.
So maybe bring in a few of the X-Men.
X-Men.
X-Men's. That would be awesome.
That would be. Uh, I just had a brain fart. Sorry. It'd be good for time, or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that might be a good place to kind of wrap it up.
want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for again watching the Dark Horse Experience.
Yes, yes.
Jeff, it's been a pleasure, like always,
As always.
to see that big fuzzy Wookiee face of yours.
Yeah. So again, like check out the Ms. and Mrs. if you haven't yet. I recommend it. Um, we'll keep you guys updated on posts as far as DC Universe goes. Um, depending on how SummerSlam goes, we might just stop talking about WWE altogether.
You never know with us.
Except for maybe the women's division. We'll actually talk about people with talent who give a shit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. If you're not watching this until later in the week. And don't forget to expect the unexpected.
Deuces, gooses.
Peace.